Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to Final Score, coming to you live from our studio here in Media City, Salford, and from our reporters at 18 games all over the country today. Settle with us for the next few hours as we bring you news of all the goals as they go in. We have a formidable northern defensive duo in the studio today. Former Manchester City centre-half Nedum Onuoha and the ex-Everton and Liverpool shot-stopper Rachel Brown-Finnis. None of that newfangled playing out from the back with these two. Betty Glover is also here with the latest from another busy day in the EFL. The early game has just finished. This is unbelievable. Wolves 2, Spurs 1. More on that very, very shortly. First, let's get straight out there and get the team news from the 3 o'clock kickoffs in the Premier League. We start at the Emirates, where Arsenal are at home to Burnley. Good afternoon to Will Perry.
Good afternoon, Jason. There was a roar here not long ago because of that result at Molineux. Arsenal could go above Spurs with 3 points and top of the table if they win by 6. Mikel Arteta's made 2 Arsenal changes from the team that lost at Newcastle. Alexander Zinchenko comes in for Ben White, who's ill, and Leandro Trossard replaces Eddie Nketiah, who drops to the bench. The good news is that Bukayo Saka starts, but still no Martin Odegaard or Gabriel Jesus. Burnley are hoping to avoid a 6th straight defeat. Vincent Kompany keeps them unchanged from the defeat against Crystal Palace. Michael Obafemi's in the matchday squad for the first time this season. He's on the bench along with Josh Cullen, who's back from suspension. The visitors still without top scorer Lyle Foster, who's in the care of specialists after the recurrence of a mental health issue, and we wish him well.
Will, thank you very much indeed. Have a good afternoon. Pressure is mounting on that man, Erik ten Hag, and the home fans are restless. Eilidh Barbour has the team news from Old Trafford. Good afternoon, Eilidh.
Afternoon, Jason, as Man United play at Old Trafford today for the 2,500th time, a venue that has seen so much success. It is, like you say, a more frustrated fan that makes their way here today, and Erik ten Hag makes 2 changes from the team that started the midweek defeat in Copenhagen, both defensive, as Victor Lindelof and Sergio Reguilon replace the injured Johnny Evans and Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Marcus Rashford also reaches a milestone as he becomes the youngest United player to reach 250 Premier League appearances. For the visitors, no real surprise, Rob Edwards has named the same starting 11, so despite Chong's heroics off the bench against Liverpool, he stays amongst the substitutes. It means Andros Townsend could become just the 3rd player to score at Old Trafford for 3 different clubs, having done so for both Everton and Palace. Defender Terem Mengi came through the United Academy. He starts today against the team he left in the summer.
Thank you, Eilidh. To South London, where Mike Williams has the team news from Palace at home to an improving Everton.
Yes, both managers here can justifiably think their sides have turned a corner this season, especially Palace, who welcome back 2 key forward players this afternoon. After coming on as a substitute last weekend, Eberechi Eze makes his first start in 6 weeks, 2 days after signing a new contract at the club. And Palace fans will also be delighted to see Michael Olise named amongst the substitutes today. He will surely make his first appearance of the season at some point this afternoon. As for Everton, they also make 1 change today. Amadou Onana comes in for Idrissa Gana Gueye, who drops to the bench. And a lovely tribute in the programme today from Roy Hodgson to the late Everton chairman Bill Kenwright, who was good friends with the Palace manager. Indeed, Palace have laid an Everton scarf over an empty chair in the away section of the director's box this afternoon.
Yeah, lovely touch. Thank you very much indeed, Mike. I can't believe what I'm seeing here. Absolutely incredible scenes. Brennan Johnson scored for Spurs at Molineux after just 3 minutes. Fine move. But then Spurs capitulated in injury time. Pablo Sarabia with an unbelievable strike to make it 1-1. 6 minutes later, Mario Lemina with the winner. What a turnaround. Wolves 2, Spurs 1. Good afternoon to Rachel and Nedum. Can you believe what you're seeing, Rach?
What a great way to start the show, eh? If you're a Wolves
Not if you're a Spurs fan.
As a neutral, you're right. But it was a flash of brilliance.
As they look at the goals they've conceded, the first one, it's a great finish by Sarabia, but the second one, they get hit quickly. It's just a quick free kick, and before you know it, their players running towards that Spurs goal.
More than hanging on in there, I think they took the game to Spurs in large waves. But it was brilliant. At the time when the free kick was taken, I was thinking, I don't see how Wolves are going to score, because there was numbers back for Spurs.
Well, Guy Mowbray is commentating on this one for Match of the Day, and he joins us live from Old Trafford. Good afternoon to you, Guy. Good to see you. Tough times at Old Trafford. Defeat in the Champions League. A protest against the Glazers today. This is a must-win, right, Guy?
Oh, absolutely, Jason. Yeah, good afternoon to everybody. They have to win, United. Their record at home this season, won 5, lost 5. That's in all competitions. They were unlucky against Copenhagen on Wednesday night. I covered that game, and Rashford sending off really did change it. Really did change it totally. And a couple of dodgy penalty decisions as well, 1 for, 1 against. But it's not all about bad luck. You make your own luck, and United have not been making anything particularly positive happen for them. Even their only win in their last 4 games away to Fulham a week ago was patchy. It was dodgy, to be honest. So they've got to win. They've got to put in a performance. All of their Premier League wins this season have only been by a single goal. That'll do them today, obviously, but in a way it won't. I think they should try and rack some goals up against Luton.
Right, Guy, Luton's last and only away win at Manchester United was in 1897. And before you two start, I didn't cover the game. All right, and before Guy Mowbray starts, I didn't cover the game. And despite the queries in the office this morning, but back then United were called Newton Heath and Old Trafford hadn't been built. Surely they couldn't do it today, Luton, could they?
Well, bizarrely, although I've just said United could rack up the goals today, I watched Luton against Liverpool last week. It was their best performance of the season. And if they play like that again, they will give Manchester United one heck of a test and could even win this. That's how good they were against, yes, an under par Liverpool, but they played out of their skins. It felt like a third-round FA Cup tie, the whole atmosphere around the place. And yeah, you mentioned that history here. This will actually be the biggest crowd Luton Town have ever played a league game in front of. Because when they came here in the 80s and the early 90s, Luton, there were only about 47,000 inside Old Trafford those days for safety reasons. So 70,000 plus, the biggest crowd Luton have ever played in front of. And you said about that history, 1897, that was before Old Trafford was built, as you mentioned. Luton have been here 16 times. Luton have lost here 16 times. So if they get anything at all, it's history.
Guy, thank you very much indeed. Always good to see you. Well, Manchester United's start of the season is not wowing the fans, but when you look at the points on the board, they're not too far away from where they've been in recent seasons, Rachel.
No, but that's not what Manchester United fans want. They want the glory years back.
Well, also, we're racking up the interviews today. Jonathan Pearce is at Selhurst Park for Match of the Day, and he joins us live. We've just been chatting to Guy Mowbray at Old Trafford. JP, very good to see you. Great news for Palace fans. Eberechi Eze signed this new contract, starts today. And what do you make of that?
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, everyone in the studio. There's a real buzz about this place today. I haven't seen many goals at Selhurst this season, very few to be precise, but when the fans heard that Eberechi A had signed a new contract and B was starting today, well, there was a great deal of joy and enthusiasm and indeed anticipation that this could be the day they really play to their maximum effect, because they have been missing that crucial little bit extra in midfield of creativity that Eze can give them. He came on against Burnley last week and did enough to earn his start today. And of course, it's double bubble for them because Michael Eilidh is fit to be on the bench. And I think he will play a part, but I'm not too sure how long he'll play. He's been out for the whole season with a hamstring injury. Donkor drops out today. He's another who's had a hamstring problem this week, in fact, so he's not fit enough to start. That gives the room then for Eze to return. I think they will be more attacking. They've only lost once in 20 games against teams from outside London on this ground. On the other hand, they've only beaten Everton once in 17, and Everton, as we've just heard from Sean Dyche, are a different team these days.
JP, careful what you say, because Rachel's in the studio. Do you think Everton have turned a corner?
Well, I think that Everton will be Champions League winners within the next 2 years, Rachel. Let's get back to reality and not dream world. But they have turned the corner, I think. 4 away wins in 6 in all competitions. If they win away today, that's 3 away wins on the spin in the Premier League. That'll match their total for last season. I spoke to Jared Branthwaite about an hour ago, and he said that the messages from the manager have now got through. And you know what Sean Dyche is like: focus, focus, focus. He's got 3 cornerstones to his 3 of the 4 cornerstones for Everton under Sean Dyche, as they were for Burnley's work, work again, and work some more. And that's what they're doing under him, and that's why they're improving, and they'll be okay.
JP, I see you've got a monitor there in front of you. Is that final score or Soccer Saturday?
I've got you. You can't see it. I've got you there. Goodness me, you're looking handsome in there, son. And yeah, I've got to turn it off. I've got to watch the game, otherwise you'll just confuse me. Just looking at you and glorifying.
You're a good man, JP. Thank you very much indeed. Well, Everton, 16th at the table, taking their chances is a big problem. 7th for attempts on goal, 20th and bottom on shot conversion. So, Nedum, things getting better under Sean Dyche, would you say?
Yeah, I think so. I think given the fact I think they lost their first 4 games or 5 games in the league, was it? And this was their worst ever start to the Premier League season.
How integral is he to what Palace do?
Well, I'll be honest, I'm exceptionally biased. Like, this is a friend of mine, someone that I played with at QPR, so to see him doing well in the Premier League and to see him be the main man for a Premier League side, I think it's great for him. And the fact that they've tied him down to this longer-term deal, I think it's a great show of intent by him and the football club.
Yeah, well said. Let's get more then from the Emirates, where Arsenal will be looking to bounce back after that controversial, shall we say, defeat to Newcastle United last week. Here is Match of the Day commentator Steve Bauer.
Yes, absolutely, Jason. Welcome to the Emirates. Mikel Arteta has said, hasn't he? He's keen to move on from last weekend's events. They certainly did that here in the Champions League in the week, on the verge of qualification, which is a big relief to Mikel Arteta. And just one change in that team today. He's trying to get the continuity and just gather that momentum again. It's only their 7th defeat in 50 Premier League games at Newcastle. That hasn't really been mentioned, understandably, because of all the controversy. They're so strong at here as well, and they know if they are going to try and keep close to Manchester City, they simply have to be winning these games and winning them well. And of course, Mikel Arteta reacquainted with Vincent Kompany today from their Manchester City days, the first time they've been in the opposite dugout. Stark contrast in fortunes there, of course, with their home form. Their 4 points they have picked up are away from home, and as Vincent Kompany says, they have to believe there's a spectacularly shock result coming somewhere. It would be a huge one if it came here today at the Emirates Stadium.
Thank you, Steve. Good stuff. Well, Burnley have lost 4 in a row, scored the fewest in the Premier League. Their main striker, Lyle Foster, now unavailable. Can Vincent Kompany turn this around, Rach? Shall we say? Let's put it that way. But if they don't get points from these, here's my question to you, Nedum, because obviously Rachel's here and we know Burnley's her club. Is Vincent Kompany in trouble?
I don't think he's in trouble, but I think that's because of the philosophy that maybe the owners have there. I think they see him as being the long-term manager for them.
Let's look ahead to this afternoon's action in the EFL with Betty Glover. Good afternoon to you, Betty.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Let's start with a full-time report then from the early championship game between Sunderland and Birmingham City. John Bennett was at the Stadium of Light.
Sunderland 3, Birmingham City 1. Wayne Rooney's nightmare start as Birmingham boss continues. Second best today in terms of result and performance. No intensity at all. Birmingham's Koji Miyoshi had equalised after a fine move following Joe Bellingham's opener in the first half. But Sunderland had hit the post twice and they were more clinical second half. Trey Hume's looping header was bundled in on the line for an own goal. Then sub Adil Al-Shish tapped in for 3-1, his first for the club. 4 defeats, 1 draw, 0 wins for Rooney. Sunderland 2 wins in 3. Sunderland 3, Birmingham City 1.
Thanks to John there. Yeah, Wayne Rooney still looking for a win. Last night, Preston beat Blackburn to go 4th in the Championship thanks to a 90th minute winner from Liam Lindsay. Alan Brown opened the scoring for Preston with an absolute rocket. If you haven't seen...
Thank you very much indeed. Betty, you can get involved this afternoon. We'd love to hear from you. Use the hashtag BBC Final Score. Join the conversation on the live text, BBC Sport website and BBC Sport app. Right then, what are you looking forward to this afternoon, Rich? Okay. Teams are on their way out. First to the Emirates, where Arsenal host Burnley. Will Perry.
After the unbeaten record slipped at St James's, a chance today for Arsenal to move above Spurs and level on points with the leaders Manchester City, boosted by a midweek Champions League victory over Sevilla. 6 defeats in 7 in the Premier League for Burnley, who are only off the bottom of the table thanks to goal difference.
Erik ten Hag acknowledges the pressure that's on his side in his programme notes today, but states his players have the quality and character to turn this season around. 9 defeats so far, 5 defeats here at Old Trafford, including back-to-back 3-0 losses, and this is the joint worst at this stage of the season since 1930. They do have a good record against promoted sides, but in today's visitors, there is a team spirit that's about as contrasting as you can get to Ten Hag's dressing room right now.
Crystal Palace are looking for back-to-back victories in the Premier League for the first time since April, but will be wary of an Everton side who won their last match away from home. That was also in London against West Ham a fortnight ago. Sean Dyche insists his side are heading in the right direction after picking up 10 points from their last 6 matches. But Palace are buoyed by the return of Eberechi Eze, who makes his first start in 6 weeks, and Michael Eilidh, who will surely come off the bench this afternoon for his first appearance of the season.
With Armistice Day today and Remembrance Sunday tomorrow, football is pausing at this moment to reflect and remember those who have fallen.
we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them.
We will remember them. Poignant scenes there from Old Trafford, the Emirates and Selhurst Park. Let's just talk about Mikel Arteta just before we go around the grounds. What have you made of the interesting week he's had, Rich?
I think he needs to stop getting bogged down with the external talk. And we know he's emotional, and that's okay. But you have to really kind of, in my opinion, rein it in when the whole world's watching. For the benefit of your team, for the benefit of, you know, the releases of cortisol that kind of really are not good for stress and all.
Right, let's get around the grounds. Let's get to Scotland. Both leaders Celtic and Rangers in action tomorrow. Currently in third place, St Mirren. Who drew... Oh, are we going... We're going to go to Palace already. Wow, there's been a goal. Mike Williams.
56 seconds on the clock, and would you believe it, the visitors have the lead here. Everton have stunned Selhurst Park.
Right then, let's start again, shall we? Let's get to Scotland. Both leaders Celtic. It's like Groundhog Day, this, isn't it? And Rangers are in action tomorrow. Currently in third place at Mirren, who drew with Hibs 2-2 midweek. Today they're at mid-table Dundee. Gavin Wallace.
Jason, I'm not quite sure what you've just said. You might have to tell me again. Yes, the Scottish Premiership tighter than your wallet on a night out, I'm afraid. And this match this afternoon could make the midsection of the league table even tighter. And Zach Rudden! Oh, for Dundee. He really should have just... How on earth? Jason, just to tell you what happened, he's come in, he's deep inside the box. The goalkeeper, Zach Hemming, on loan from Middlesbrough, has come out. And how Zach Rudden has missed that, I've got absolutely no idea. That is probably going to be one of the biggest sitters that we see in Scotland this season. Anyway, it's really tight in the league right now. The host sits 6 on 14, the visitors third on 19, 3 teams below Dundee are on 12. The home side could finish, if they could score this afternoon, 4th if the Kilmarnock lose at Hibs. And well, to be honest, I think we've got a game in our hands this afternoon. St Mirren unbeaten in 4 of the last 5 between the two. And goals-wise, we've seen 28 scored between both teams this season, and both have conceded 29. So we should, unless you're Zach Rudden, score goals today.
Surely, let's go into the Championship. Leicester City top of the table, go to the Riverside to face Middlesbrough, who had that thriller with Plymouth Argyle last week. Good afternoon, Ben Croucher.
It was a madcap 3-3 draw at Plymouth. Borough unchanged here at the Riverside, but last beat Leicester in 2002 when Gareth Southgate was in the Borough defence. Leicester on the verge of history. No team in the Championship or Leagues 1 and 2 have won their first 8 away games. Leicester could do that today. Vardy, Cassidy and Fatawu drop out. Kelechi Iheanacho leads the line. Striker Tom Cannon expected to make his long long-awaited debut off the bench. Their boss, Enzo Maresca, has merry Middlesbrough memories, Jason. Scored twice for Sevilla and was named man of the match in beating them in the 2006 UEFA Cup final. Borough, beware.
Yes, indeed. Ryan Broom has scored for Fleetwood Town against Exeter City in League One. Let's go to Portman Road, where Ipswich Town second. They're at home to Swansea City. Marc Webber knows Swansea very well, especially the pubs and the nightclubs.
Oh, stop wine streeting me up now, Jason. The Swansea faithful have travelled 278 mumbles miles to see this game. Plenty of Welsh interest, both ends. Bangor's Nathan Broadhead returns from injury into the starting 11. Cardiff boy Wes Burns on the subs bench. But a 10-man Swans didn't just have the kitchen sink thrown at them by Sunderland midweek. They had the whole of the Bonamine B&Q warehouse chucked at them, and they still held on for a draw. No moments of note yet, 0-0.
Thank you, Mark. As I mentioned, Plymouth Argyle had that 3-3 draw last week, but Leeds United had that magnificent win over Leicester City last time out. Good afternoon to Sarah Mulkerrins.
Yeah, and after that win at Leicester, Jason, which was their 5th in 6 games, as Leeds just come on the attack here at Elland Road, they're coming in some real good form. There's a sense that the team are starting to find their groove under Daniel Farke now. They're third on the table, 8 points off Ipswich in second. They've got one change this afternoon. Captain Liam Cooper back in the starting lineup. Pascal Struijk undergoing surgery for a long-standing hernia issue. And while Leeds, they've not lost at home this season, Argyle have yet to win away as they settle into Championship life. They are 5 points clear of the relegation zone. They're scoring plenty, but they are also conceding. 2 changes for them today. Stephen Schumacher, their manager, says they will be brave and take this game to Leeds today, so it could be fun.
Thank you, Sarah. Will Smallbone has scored for Southampton against West Bromwich Albion. We'll go there very shortly. It's the Bluebirds against the Canaries. Who'll be flying come 5 o'clock, Laura Kenyon?
Another question, Jace. Will David Wagner still be Norwich manager by close of play today? Under pressure, booed off after defeat to 10-man Blackburn last weekend. Insists, though, it's not make or break today. Had a phone call from Delia Smith in the week, but haven't won since September. And contrast that with Cardiff, who are on the attack now. New manager Errol Bullitt, and name no one knew, hit the ground running, sparkling home form. It's still 0-0.
Thank you. Let's get details of that goal from Becky Ives.
Will Smallbone. West Brom thought they'd cleared it off the line, but the referee deemed it had crossed it. He was just quickest to a shot that was parried away by the West Brom keeper, and it is the dream start. St Mary's are singing. Southampton looking to make it 8 games without defeat. Just a point in 2 places between these sides, and both have the aim of promotion this season. Just word of note, Southampton 1 enforced change. Jan Bednarek is out through suspension, so Mason Holgate comes in. For West Brom, 1 change for them as well in midfield. Nathaniel Chalobah in, Alex Mowat out.
Thank you. As it stands then, Southampton third in the table. A couple of own goals, as you can see on the video printer. Wigan Athletic 1-0 up against Cheltenham Town. Tranmere Rovers 1-up against Forest Green Rovers in League 2. Back to the Championship, the Huddersfield Town boss Darren Moore says he's expecting a very tough challenge today at Hull City. Now, Andy Sixsmith is at this one, and I have to say, after having a go at the presenter's fashion sense 2 weeks ago, I'm surprised he's back.
Jace, so is my mum Lynn, who tells me today, be nice to that Jason Mohammad fella, will you? Well, I didn't realise JMO would be choosing violence so early on. Anywho, Yorkshire derby today, Hull against Huddersfield, a game that could only get more Yorkshire if Brian Blessed walked in reading Emily Bronte. Hull in the Wuthering Heights of 9th, and with starboy Jaden Philogene past fit as they look for a first win over Huddersfield in 8 years. With 1 win in 9, Terriers in shocking form, but local derbies are their forte. Only 3 defeats in their last 15 meetings with Yorkshire clubs, but they only have 1 away win all season, and an injury list as long as the 70-mile journey here. This the 50th meeting between these two, the first back in 1911. Jace, even you can't remember that one. Sorry, Lynn. 0-0.
I tell you, Mum, I love that. Right, the new Millwall boss, Joe Edwards, starts his new job at Sheffield Wednesday. They're still bottom of the table. Naz Premji.
Yes, afternoon, Jason. Wednesday still bottom, but lots of optimism following the arrival of Danny Röhl at 34. He and Millwall counterpart Edwards at 37, 2 of the youngest managers in the Championship. Edwards, remember, was on the coaching staff at Chelsea and Everton and replaced Gary Rowett at the Den. Wednesday on top early doors, bossing possession, 0-0 currently after 10.
Thank you, Naz. As Betty said earlier, Liam Manning left Oxford United this week for Bristol City. He starts his new job today at Loftus Road. Joshua Adu-Donkor at this one.
Afternoon, Jason. Yes, there is a new man in Bristol City. Dug out an excited appointment for Liam Manning taking charge for the first time. For QPR, it's new boss Marty Cifuentes' first home match after a 1-1 draw last week away at Rotherham. Most here today be hoping for immediate impact from him. QPR haven't won at home since March, and now have gone 10 Championship games without a win. No chances so far. QPR 0, Bristol City 0.
Well, Reading have lost all 7 away games in League One, but they're 1-0 up. Sam Smith with a goal on 12 minutes against Shrewsbury Town. Let's stay in League One. Big game of the day is at league leaders Portsmouth. They're at home to Charlton Athletic, who were held by Cray Valley Paper Mills in the Cup last week. Replay live on the BBC this week. Chris Wise is with us, who's just become a dad of triplets. Congratulations to you and your family, Chris.
Jace, thank you very much. 3 babies and mum, all doing very well at the moment, and I appreciate that a lot. In terms of the football, no one in League One has beaten Pompey this season, and yet a team from the National League have. Chesterfield saw them off in the FA Cup last week. Obviously, that will matter little if Portsmouth are promoted this season. They're 3 points clear of the pack in League One, but beware of the Charlton curse. On their last 7 visits to Fratton Park, they've won every single time. And Portsmouth actually bumping into the Addicts at arguably the wrong time again, because Charlton's league form is improving, and it won't have passed the home fans by that the latest Charlton manager to try to add to that sequence of South Coast wins is a former Pompey boss in Michael Appleton. The home side have been the better in the early stages, 0-0.
Thank you, Chris. Top of the table in League Two are Stockport County. They got a Swindon Town. Who knows how many goals we may end up with after that Cup horror show last week. Ellen Ellard.
Yeah, and it's been a fast-paced start here today, but still Swindon 0, Stockport 0. Swindon needing to turn things around, as you say. They've conceded 10 in their last 2, but it is top of the table Stockport, who travel south with hopes of extending their incredible club record unbeaten run. Dave Challoner's side unchanged from their last time out in the win, as in the league even, as Stockport just hit the bar. They've come oh so close on so many occasions already. Tanto Alafe back in the squad. He's had a shot go wide, so is Sarcevic. And 2 changes from Swindon's midweek defeat in the league, and the most eye-catching one of that is Williams Kokolo. He makes his debut after signing for the club just 3 hours ago. Still Swindon 0, Stockport 0.
Look at Reading, 2-0 up now. Don Ballard after 15 minutes at Shrewsbury Town. Notts County in second are a Crew, who are in the playoff places. They've got that big cup replay at Derby County in the week. Shojo Saka.
Yes, just 1 point between these 2 sides in League Two at the moment. Notts County have picked up former Premier League midfielder Dan Gosling on a short-term deal. He started on the bench today. Crew are the league's top scorer so far. They've achieved that despite a spate of injuries. Forward Shiloh Tracy is back today. He's looked lively so far. And one for the Anoraks, Jason. Having hosted Stockport here and then Derby in the Cup last week, this is the first time ever that Crew have had 3 consecutive home matches against teams whose names end in county.
Oh, very nice little bit of trivia there. Right. Thank you, Joshua. You are right up to date then with the Championship. Let's get your news from League One and League Two with Betty.
Hello, Jason. Thank you very much. We're going to start in League One then. Leaders Portsmouth at home to Charlton. Chris Wise is there. And Ollie Palmer's 5th goal of the season has given Wrexham the lead at home to Gillingham as they try to keep pace with Stockport County at the top of the table. Jason?
Betty, thank you very much indeed. We are completely up to date. Right, we're going to take a very quick break, so viewers on BBC One could join us. If you're watching on the iPlayer, the BBC Sport website, red button, stay exactly where you are. We shall see you very shortly. Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to Final Score. Another busy Saturday of football. We have been live on the iPlayer since 2:30, as we are every week. 3 Premier League games at 3 o'clock today. Full fixture list in England and Scotland. With me in the studio, a formidable northern defensive duo. No holds barred defender and England's number one. Welcome to Nedum and Rachel Brown-Finnis. Also, we have Betty Glover here in the studio with the latest from the EFL. In the lunchtime kickoff, it finished Wolverhampton Wanderers 2, Tottenham Hotspur 1. More on that in a moment. Incredible finish. First, let's get around the grounds. We start at Arsenal. Burnley, Will Perry.
Arsenal 2, Burnley 1. Trossard gave Mikel Arteta's side the lead in first half stoppage time, bravely turning in a Saka flick on at the back post and colliding badly with the woodwork, injuring his arm, but he's managed to play on. Brownhill then equalised early in the second half, an effort which deflected in off Gabriel, but less than 3 minutes later, Saliba heading in from close range from a corner. Trafford's made 2 excellent saves to deny Saka and Trossard. Rice has just come so close to bending in Arsenal's third. Burnley, though, have had a real good go. Goodmanson and Rodriguez have both forced Raya into stops. As it stands, though, Arsenal going above their bitter rivals Tottenham and level on points with the leaders Manchester City. Burnley, well, they've got around 20 minutes to avoid a 7th Premier League defeat in 8 games, with 2 massive home matches against West Ham and Sheffield United to come. Arsenal 2, Burnley 1.
Thank you, Will. Manchester United need a win. Free kick for Luton Town, Eilidh Barbour.
Yeah, Luton coming back into the second half, and it is Barkley standing over the free kick, but that is fired straight at the wall. And United, they lead here through a perhaps unlikely source in Victor Lindelof. It came from a corner. He was in the right place at the right time to smash it past Kaminski, and it has been dominant in terms of possession for the home side. Højlund has had 2 great opportunities. Garnacho threw on the keeper, but took too long to get a shot away. Rashford shooting straight at the goalkeeper with time to pick his spot, and you wondered if missed opportunities were perhaps going to hurt them, particularly when Onana had to dive to his left to deny Morris when it was still goalless. Luton are trying to make their limited time on the ball count here in this second half against the United team, who, despite all their possession, have really lacked just that bit of intensity in their performance today. But 1 goal perhaps could be enough. It is worth noting, though, that Luton have scored 7 of their goals in the final 15 minutes in the Premier League. So this one might not be over yet. It is United who lead by 1-0.
Top of the league in League 2, Stockport County. They've won 10 on the bounce, 2-2 against Swindon Town. And Millwall, what an afternoon for them. 4-0 up against Sheffield Wednesday. We'll go around the grounds in the EFL very shortly. First, let's go to Selhurst Park. Mike Williams.
Well, are Everton on course here for consecutive away victories in the capital city? After beating West Ham a fortnight ago, they are 20 minutes or so away from beating Crystal Palace, thanks to goals from Mykolenko and Doucouré. But can they hold on? Palace are knocking at the door very loudly. And in the last few minutes, Roy Hodgson has just played his joker, bringing on the incredibly talented Michael Eilidh for his first appearance of the season after the Frenchman recovered from a long-standing injury. Eilidh already having an immediate impact. He sent a curling shot goalwards, which was just high and wide of Pickford's right-hand corner, but that got the home fans excited. They are on their feet, and you would say there could well still be goals in this one.
Thank you, Mike. Let's get some details now from Wolves' dramatic comeback win over Spurs. Maz Faruqi.
Well, what a comeback from Wolves in stoppage time here at Molineux. In the 91st minute, they drew level through Pablo Zarabia, and then he assisted the winner in the 97th minute from Lamina. Gary O'Neill sent into wild celebrations with his technical staff on the touchline here. Brennan Johnson did give Spurs the lead in the 3rd minute, but that seems an awful long time ago now. Wolves responding so well, working so hard to get back into this game, and in stoppage time finally getting the dramatic win that they needed to kickstart their season. Tottenham, though, miss out on the chance to go top of the Premier League.
The 5:30 Premier League game is Bournemouth-Newcastle United. You can listen to it live on BBC Sounds and 5 Live. Let's go to Conor McNamara.
Well, Bournemouth make 5 changes from their last game, the 6-1 defeat at Manchester City last weekend, including the return from injury of Brazilian goalkeeper Neto. Senesi comes back into the defence, Kluivert and Semenyo will play wide, and Lewis Cook makes his 250th appearance of his league career in the midfield. For Newcastle, it is, of course, a return to these parts for Eddie Howe. Eddie Howe and Bournemouth synonymous for so many years. 3 changes for Newcastle from their last league game, the win over Arsenal at St James's Park. Lewis Hall comes in at left back for the injured Dan Burn, Joe Willock for the suspended Bruno Guimaraes, and there is a first Premier League start for midfielder Lewis Miley. He takes the place of Callum Wilson, who hasn't travelled to the South Coast to take on his former club.
Back to Old Trafford, Eilidh Barbour.
Well, Manchester United have done enough to get a vital 3 points this afternoon against a stubborn Luton side. Victor Lindelof, the difference, but it certainly wasn't exactly a thriller. United dominated possession, but they lacked a real intensity on the ball, and they struggled to break the visitors down. It's hardly a real surprise then that the goal did come from a set piece, although Kaminski pulled off a brilliant save to deny Højlund from point-blank range in the first half. Onana too had to pull off a super save of his own to deny Morris with it still goalless. United denied Luton much in the way of time on the ball throughout the game, and at the end of it all, very much needed 3 points stay at Old Trafford, but it did come with casualties. Both Christian Eriksen and Højlund forced off, so perhaps more for Erik ten Hag to have to deal with post-international break. But it is finished here at Old Trafford. Manchester United 1, Luton Town 0.
And what a win for Everton, Mike Williams.
Capital gains for Everton for the second straight away match. Sean Dyche's side will leave London with all 3 points. And what drama we have seen here at Selhurst Park. 3 times Everton took the lead. First through Mikalenko's header. That was cancelled out by an Eze penalty. 1-1 at the break. An Eilidh goal put Everton back in front 2-1. But again, Palace responded through Odsonne Edouard's brilliant finish. 2-2. We thought the points might be shared, but Idrissa Gana Gueye had other ideas. The substitute was fed by a brilliant Doucouré through ball. Gueye was hitting the deck but still managed to get his shot away past the despairing Sam Johnston to send the Everton bench and the travelling fans into delirium. Substitute Michael Eilidh came on for his first appearance of the season for Palace, showed flashes of brilliance but couldn't do enough to rescue Roy Hodgson's side. This was Everton's day. They are up to 14th in the Premier League table. Perhaps they should build that new stadium down here in London instead.
And they absolutely love it. And not surprising, because Everton have won more away games this season already than they did last season. Good win for Arsenal, Will Parry.
Arsenal 3, Burnley 1. Mikel Arteta's side move above their not-so-friendly neighbours. Tottenham into second place and level on points with the leaders Manchester City, who, of course, play Chelsea tomorrow. Trossard got the party started in first half stoppage time, bravely turning in a Saka flick-on at the back post and colliding badly with the woodwork, injuring his arm, but he managed to play on. Brownhill equalised early in the second half, an effort which deflected in off Gabriel. Then less than 3 minutes later, Saliba headed in from close range from a corner, and after O'Shea headed against his own bar, it fell to Zinchenko, who volleyed in for his first Arsenal goal here at the Emirates. Fabio Vieira was shown a late straight red card for a knee-high tackle on Brownhill, but it's 7 defeats in 8 Premier League games for Vincent Kompany. They stay second bottom. Good win for Arsenal, as you say. Arsenal 3, Burnley 1.
Don't forget, you can see all the goals from today's Premier League games. Match of the day, 11 o'clock tonight on BBC One with Gary and the team. This is Final Score from the BBC. Interviews and reaction on the way. First, all of today's results with Mike West.
And we'll open with today's action in the Premier League. Arsenal 3, Burnley 1. Bournemouth against Newcastle United, an evening kick-off at 5:30. Crystal Palace 2, Everton 3. Manchester United 1, Luton Town 0. And Wolverhampton Wanderers 2, Tottenham Hotspur 1. The Sky Bet Championship, Cardiff City 2, Norwich City 3. Coventry City 0, Stoke City 0. Hull City 1, Huddersfield Town 0. Ipswich Town 3, Swansea City 2. Leeds United 2, Plymouth Argyle 1. Middlesbrough 1, Leicester City 0. Queen's Park Rangers 0, Bristol City 0. Sheffield Wednesday 0, Millwall 4. Southampton 2, West Bromwich Albion 1. Sunderland 3, Birmingham City 1. And Watford 5, Rotherham United 0. The Sky Bet League 1, Bolton Wanderers 1, Blackpool 0. Carlisle United 0. Bristol Rovers 1. Cheltenham Town 1, Wigan Athletic 1. Derby County 3, Barnsley 0. Fleetwood Town 3, Exeter City 0. Leyton Orient 2, Oxford United 3. Lincoln City 1, Port Vale 1. Northampton Town 2, Burton Albion 0. Peterborough United 5, Cambridge United 0. Portsmouth 2, Charlton Athletic 2. Shrewsbury Town 3, Reading 2. And Wycombe Wanderers 0, Stevenage 1 is the latest score. The Sky Bet League 2, AFC Wimbledon 2, Doncaster Rovers 0. Bradford City 1. Barrow 2, Colchester United 1, Sutton United 1, Crawley Town 3, Accrington Stanley 1, Crewe Alexandra 1, Notts County 0 is a latest score. Grimsby Town 3, Morecambe 2, Newport County 0, MK Dons 0, Salford City 1, Mansfield Town 2, Swindon Town 2, Stockport County 4, Tranmere Rovers 3, Forest Green Rovers 0, Walsall 0, Harrogate Town 1 and Wrexham 2, Gillingham 0. The Vanarama National League, AFC Fylde 0, York City 2, Aldershot Town 1, Kidderminster Harriers 0, Altrincham 2, Southend United 0, Boreham Wood 1, Bromley 1, Chesterfield 4, Barnet 2, Dagenham and Redbridge against Solihull Moors is an evening kick-off at 5:30. Gateshead 6, Dorking Wanderers 0, Hartlepool United 2, Ebbsfleet United 2, Maidenhead United 1, FC Halifax Town 0, Oldham Athletic 1, Eastleigh 1, Oxford City 3, Woking 2, and Wealdstone 3, Rochdale 2. Into Scotland with the Cinch Premiership, Dundee 4, St Mirren 0, Hibernian 1, Kilmarnock 0, Motherwell 1, Hearts 2, and St Johnstone 1, Ross County 0. The Scottish Championship, Adrionians 2, Arbroath 0, Inverness Caledonian Thistle 3, Ayr United 1, Partick Thistle 2, Greenock Morton 1, Queen's Park 2, Wraith Rovers 3. The Scottish League 1, Alloa Athletic 1, Queen of the South 0, Falkirk 2, Edinburgh City 1, Hamilton Academical 5, Stirling Albion 0, Kelty Hearts 0, Cove Rangers 1, and Montrose 1, and an Athletic 1. The Scottish League 2, East Fife 0, Dumbarton 1, Elgin City 2, Bonnyrigg Rose 0, Forfar Athletic 1, Clyde 1, Peterhead 3, Stranraer 2, and Stenhousemuir 3, the Spartans 2. Lastly, the Sports Direct Premiership in Northern Ireland, Ballymena United 0, Glenavon 1, Cliftonville 1, Newry City 0, Dungannon Swifts 2, Carrick Rangers 3, Linfield against Larne, an evening kick-off at 5:30, and finally Lochgall 1, Crusaders 2.
Coming up, late results for you: Wycombe Wanderers 0, Stevenage 1, Crewe Alexandra 1, Notts County 0. Arsenal move above Liverpool and rival Spurs into second. And Manchester City top the table. Manchester United go 6th. Very little change in the lower reaches of the table after defeats for Burnley and Luton Town. Everton now 8 points clear of the drop zone. Into the Championship, Ipswich Town's 6th successive home win moves them level on points at the top after Leicester City lost at Middlesbrough. Sheffield Wednesday remain adrift at the bottom after losing to Millwall for the first time in 8 meetings. League 1 looks like this. Portsmouth haven't lost a league game since March, but a draw today with bogey side Charlton Athletic has seen their league cut to just a point. Reading were 2-0 up at Shrewsbury Town, heading for a first away win of the season, but they fell to an agonising defeat in the 96th minute and remain bottom, 2 points behind Cheltenham Town. Into League 2, leader Stockport County stretched their winning run to 13 matches in all competitions. Wrexham move into second after beating Gillingham. Sutton United remain bottom despite scoring a 95th minute equaliser at Colchester United. Top 2 met in the National League this afternoon. Chesterfield asserted their dominance by beating Barnet 4-2. And at the bottom, Maidenhead United and York City both climb out of the bottom 4. Hibs win against Kilmarnock was a first in 7 matches. Hearts win back-to-back league games for the first time in nearly a year. Well, that is all from us here on BBC One. We shall continue on the iPlayer, so do join us there for more interviews and reaction from the Premier League. My thanks to Nedum, Rachel, Betty, our reporters all over the country, and of course you for watching. Don't forget all the goals with Gary tonight at 11 on BBC One. Bye for now. Let's get some reaction. Palace 2, Everton 3 was the standout game in the Premier League today. Let's hear from Jordan Pickford. OK, Jonathan Pearce was at Palace for Match of the Day and for Final Score. JP, welcome back to the show. Let's ask you that same question. Impressed with Everton today?
I was in the way they started the game, took it straight to Crystal Palace on their front foot, and they got the goal through Mykolenko. Palace defending wasn't great there, and then they gave away the penalty when Eze just drove at them, and Branthwaite left a leg dangling. It was a tiny little bit of contact. There was a tiny bit of contact for the second one, that wasn't given. But Eze was a constant thorn in the side of Everton, and when Eilidh came on, he brightened the place up as well. It was an exuberant Sellers Park, but Everton kept just digging away. They got the second goal. It's a tremendous strike by Mykolenko, hit the post, came back, and Doucouré tucked it in. And then you think Palace are going to go on and win it, Chase, because they got on top. They were just about to substitute Edouard. They had Mateta waiting to come on for him, and Edouard pops in the goal. Poor defending by Everton. Tarkowski was otherwise brilliant, left it for the goalkeeper, who left it for Tarkowski, and Edouard poked it in. One winner from there, one winner, but it wasn't to be Crystal Palace, it was to be Everton, and they brought on Gay at half-time, took a lovely return pass from Doucouré, who again had a big role to play for Everton, and tucked it in very, very well. He played well at Gay, but just halfway through, this was this sort of game, right? Gay's almost beaten his own goalkeeper. Pickford had to make a really good save. It would have been own goal, Gay, win for Crystal Palace. It was goal at the other end for Gay, win for Everton. That sort of day.
Do you see Everton building some momentum now, JP, given their next run of fixtures?
Well, they've got a tough run of fixtures to come, and that's for certain. All Premier League teams have got tough Decembers, though, with game on game on game, and it's going to break one or two squads. My fear for Everton is the squad is thin, and if anything happens to Calvert-Lewin, who led the line well today, if anything happens to Tarkowski, then they would be big misses. Tarkowski was excellent today. Same for Palace. Squad is stick thin. They'll have to get someone in January, but Eze and Eilidh's return was bright for them. Everton, to go back to them, I think they've turned the corner already under Sean Dyche. He has them working so hard. This is a Dyche team we're talking about now, and it won't be long before we're not saying Everton have pulled 8 points clear of the bottom three. It won't be long before we're saying Everton are not that far off the top 8, and I think that's crucial for them in their development at this stage.
JP, looking forward to your commentary tonight on Match of the Day. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you. Nedum, thank you. Rachel, thank you. Betty, thank you. Thanks to all our team. Thank you for watching. We shall see you next week. From all of us here, bye for now.